If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. That's right. I am the host of the Inspired Choices Network. The Inspired Choices Radio Show here on the Inspired Choices Network. I'm so glad you're here tonight and you're joining me, whether you are listening live or in the replay. I'm so grateful for you. And if you can listen live and if you are listening live and you'd like to come over and join us in the chat room, it's so much fun in there, and the contributions from everyone is amazing as we look at these different topics. And we have thousands of shows in the replays. We have many hosts that are creating amazing content throughout every week. And tonight it's my turn. So how does it get any better? So tonight we are doing, are you selectively aware? So it's interesting how, when you go through your days, how different things will come up and they'll spark things in you, especially as a radio show host. You might be having conversations with people or watching what people are creating. And sometimes these topics come up from me pulling out my hair around different things. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's a radio show right there. And I have a lot of fun with that. So we're going to see where tonight is going to go. So before we get into the show, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a possibilities coach. I work with individuals and organizations to assist them in co-creating what it is that they desire and require to have in their life. I am an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, a BARS facilitator, a professionally trained coach, an energy healer, a radio show host, producer, website builder, social media savvy broad, and the owner of the Inspired Choices Network. So I love to create lots and lots of things. I've also created 2 chapters that are in 2 different books in the world now that are actually #1 bestsellers. And as well as all those different creations, I absolutely love creating lots and lots of things. And today has been a really big one on that. I've got some new creations in the pipeline I'm excited to tell everybody about very, very soon. But until then, I have some different programs that I work with individuals on. I do one-on-one coaching for individuals. And the places and spaces we can go to in the one-on-one coaching is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite programs that I work with, especially people who are in angst around relationships, is a program that I call Divorce with Dignity. And that program is whether you are thinking about moving into changing your relationship status, whether you're in the midst of a divorce, or you're already on the other side of the paperwork, but you're still emotionally stuck. I've worked with mainly gentlemen, actually, but lots of women as well. But in assisting in moving this forward so that people can get to a better space. Divorce or changes in relationship status does not have to be awful and uncomfortable and miserable. We actually can have kindness and regard for each other, and that's a program that I absolutely love facilitating with people. I also am a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, and I actually facilitate the foundation course. And I'm going to be doing that March the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, coming up in just a few weeks. And it's going to be themed all around luck, because I'm Irish, me darling, and we're going to be doing an Irish song and dance during the whole thing. We're going to have a lot of fun. And finally, I have a program that's called Be the Dominatrix of Your Life. And that's about leaning into the demand of you to have more and be more of what you are choosing in your life. So if any of that interests you, I am physically in the Toronto area. You can connect with me in person, or I do a lot of my programs online. So you can connect with me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. You can check out my website, inspiredchoices.ca, or you can check out me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course the Inspired Choices Network. So, on to our show tonight. Are you selectively aware? Are you selectively aware? Do you know what you know and yet find yourself sometimes not choosing your knowing when you know there is more going on than you allow yourself to know? What if you were willing to look at the areas of your life where, quote unquote, less than or stuck is being created in your relationships, your money, your technology, your body, your joy, your business? Are you willing to step into your full-time awareness? All right, say that 12 times. I'm not sure which thing I'm supposed to be saying 12 times. It's already started in the chat room. How much fun is that? So tonight, are you selectively aware? Do you know, first of all, hands up, do you know that you have awareness? Most of us do. Until you are actually cognitively looking at it, a lot of times we don't know that that's the actual name of it, is awareness. And so people know things. You know things. Okay, so awareness is really, it's a level of knowing. Okay, and you can walk into rooms, you can walk into buildings, you can walk into anywhere, and you instantly have something niggling at you. That's an awareness. An awareness is often a niggling. Like, have you ever had somebody say something to you and say, no, this is the way it is, and you're just like, wow, that just doesn't seem right, or gosh, something's off, or I don't know, I think that guy's full of it. There's something just keeps niggling at you. That is your awareness. You know something without actually sometimes being able to point to why or how you know it. That is awareness. So a lot of the times we have awareness, and then we kind of like can go back into these old patterns of not knowing, or actually saying, I don't know. And that is actually not true. On some level, there is something that you are aware of. But so many times we have decided that, yeah, I probably don't know. I probably am not that aware. Have you ever compared yourself to another person's skills or capacities? We all do, right? I certainly have. I remember when I first started taking some classes in spirituality, and I was really interested in tapping into my psychic abilities. And it was one of those things, like, I want it so bad. And when I was taking these classes, I was sure I was never, ever going to get it figured out. So whenever that doubt energy would come up in me, it didn't matter how loud my awareness was and trying to get through to me, it couldn't get through, because whenever or wherever you have a judgment about anything and something that doesn't match that judgment, you cannot come into your awareness. So it was very frustrating to me, because I was constantly being told by my facilitators that I did have awareness. And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is, because I had already decided and concluded that I wasn't as good as everybody else, that I wasn't possibly going to ever be as good as anybody else. So it was like I was stepping forward, or I was reaching forward to choose it, to have it. And then I would constantly cut myself off. It's like I kept cutting my hand off, that my hand, I couldn't actually reach forward and have it. And it's been years of really being challenged by some of my very dear friends. It's like, yes, what do you know? And they would tease me and say, Christine, you are a little aware. So it hasn't been easy. I've been more hard on myself than's required, and now it's so much fun to relax and even just to say to myself, okay, what do I know? And I may not get it in the first 10 seconds, but eventually I will step into that. I will receive that awareness. So if you've ever judged yourself or looked at somebody else and said they're so brilliant at this awareness, so brilliant at these psychic abilities, and you've judged yourself, know that you just slammed the door on it. You just automatically slammed the door and you cut it off. So that's kind of like the first step. Is if this is a topic you're interested in, if this is a place where you would like to expand, any judgment is going to cut that off. So right away you just want to say, okay, cool, I'm just going to let it go, and I'm going to play with my curiosity, and I'm going to start asking some more questions around it. Now, I went to the online etymology, which a lot of us do here, and I looked up the word awareness. And now this online etymology is a dictionary that was created before 1946, when the dictionaries and many of the definitions were changed. So the original word awareness did not have an actual definition, but it's the combination of two words. So the first, aware, and the second, ness. So aware is the intensive prefix, to be wary and cautious. That's interesting. Be wary and cautious. And the ness is, denoting action. It's a forming element denoting action, quality, or state. Well, that was really interesting. So, wary and action. That's very cool. Now, a couple of days ago, I was speaking with my dear friend Rhonda Burns, and we actually have this class that we've created together, and it's been amazing. It's called The Pleasure of Money. And in that course, what we're doing is we're walking through a book called the How to Become Money Workbook by Access Consciousness. And as I was walking through there and reading different aspects of it, I really started to get that awareness is an action. It's not necessarily just a knowing. There is an action in that. And tonight, reading those definitions, I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. Awareness is an action. So how much are we not stepping into, not taking action into receiving the awareness, and then in receiving the awareness, taking action with it. And action with it doesn't necessarily mean, if we know that somebody is going to do something stupid, it's not necessarily stopping them. It's also taking the action in ourselves in looking at it and asking some questions about it. So we are, we're going to keep diving into this more and more. And if you have any questions about it or you have any awareness about it, I'd love to hear from you. We are in the chat room on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we get back, we're going to look at some of the ways that we actually are cutting off our awareness. I'm going to share some fun stories about myself, and maybe there's going to be some that you'd like to share as well. So we're going to go for our first break of the night, and when we get back, we'll dive in deeper. You are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show with Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around tonight. And if you're just joining, we are talking about awareness. Are you selectively aware? So how many of you out there are in, let's say, a creation, whether it's a relationship or your business or a book or even you're in a conversation and you're aware of what's going on. You things are flowing along. You know, when things are flowing and they're smooth, and there's really no resistance, you are in awareness. You're moving with it. You're creating it with ease. And then how many of you, all of a sudden, you get into this massive argument or fight with somebody, or suddenly your business just like clunks, or you get into a crazy situation with coworkers, right? You have begun to cut off your awareness when things start to get sludgy. Somewhere you do. Now, this is what most of us do, is we go, damn it, sugar, what the heck? And we go into resistance and we go into judgment, right? I don't like this. This bites. Why is this person such a jerk, right? And we go into all of this judgment. And can you, as I'm saying that, can you feel the doors just starting to close on my awareness? Because whenever you've got a judgment in there, you're cutting off that awareness, right? So how many of us do that continuously? Yeah, so Eleanor in the chat room says it happened to her on Monday with emotions. Exactly. So how much do emotions actually drive our judgments, right? And judgments are not just good or bad. They're everything, right? You can have joy, and when you're so in your joy, you could be cutting off your awareness because there's something else going around. You're so deep in your joy. Yeah, anger cuts it off right away. Absolutely. So the ultimate freedom lies in awareness. That awareness is just awareness. It is not right or wrong or good or bad. It is just an awareness. So how many of us are actually asking for awareness, and then when we get that awareness, we begin to judge it? So when you begin to judge the awareness you just received, are you able to receive more, or are you cutting it off yet again? Right? It's like this it's like a car's muffler that starts and stops and starts and stops, right? It's like right, this awareness that just keeps coming and going and coming and going. That is what we're often doing. So we're being selectively aware. So the first thing you want to do is you want to drop your barriers. So everybody right now, drop your barriers, drop them down, let them go. And now from that space, get more space in your life, in your body. And from that space, begin to ask questions. So what am I aware of? What do I know? And when you're in that space without the judgment, without any kind of the expectations of how it's supposed to turn out or what the awareness is supposed to be, there you can start to get more and more of your awareness. Now, what often happens for many of us, And this is where we get really, really tripped up. So we start to think about the situation, let's say. You think about the situation, you think about a relationship, and you immediately have a thought, right? Your brain kicks in and goes, oh, it's this. And without even asking any questions, and then you go, okay, hold on a second, and you drop your barriers and you go, okay, truth, what am I aware of? Well, because you engage that brain, which your brain is very, very fast, and it starts to bring up thoughts and ideas, because you engage that right away, and you don't let go of all of those old judgments, which the judgments were, what you thought it was before you asked the truth about your awareness. Because you don't do that, you get another awareness, which is usually the exact same thing that you thought, because you were attached to it. You had already brought it in. Our brain is really tricky, and it can bring it in. And so if we don't, detach, what we say in Access is destroy and uncreate, which is just kind of wiping it out, kind of giving you a clean slate. If you don't do that with that thought, then you are automatically going to bring that awareness back in. And a lot of us do that. And then when we do that, and that is maybe not the truth of what is really going on, and we step forward and maybe we have a conversation with somebody, or we go into, well, this is the way it has to be, we make some kind of decision based on that, and it turns out to kind of blow up in your face, then we go, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I do bite at awareness. I am really terrible at this. And then we just start that whole cycle all over again and over again and over again. It can be really crazy, but look at in your life where you are creating, interacting, exploring in your life, and where all of a sudden you create trauma and drama, where you create this chaos, okay? Really look at your judgment in there. How much judgment do I actually have in this? Because you that's where you're being selectively aware. That's what's making you selectively aware, is some form or level of judgment. Does this make sense, guys? So what's really, really important for you to understand is you can change this. You can change this very, very quickly when you begin to allow yourself to just let go of all of your old judgments, kind of clean the slate and go, okay, so truth, what am I aware of? And remember, anything that is not working in your life, you're cutting off some level of awareness in there. You have some level of judgment in there. Now, judgment doesn't have to be bad unless it's kicking you in the butt, unless it's cutting off. Unless it's cutting off you receiving or you having what it is you have decided you want to have in your life. So what I'll tell you, it was so funny, and this can creep up on you so fast. And I'm not like anyone else. I'm still working at paying attention to what I'm choosing and where I'm going into judgment and decisions, because it is the thing that we've been taught so much is how to judge so quickly. So actually this past week I received a message from someone, and I read the words, and immediately I went into assumption. I assumed that what that message said was, A, and it flipped me right out. It just triggered so much in me that I was in what I call a beyond. I was just like, like on the floor in the fetal position, like, are you kidding me? And as I always do, I don't stay in that very long. I picked up my phone and I contacted a friend, what do you call it, a lifeline. And, I contacted this friend and they said, okay, so did you ask a question? I'm like, oh yeah, no, I didn't ask a question. So because I had, and we all have these. We have past experiences that create our judgments, and when things show up, oftentimes like what they used to show up, our brain automatically points to what that actually is, which is an old experience. So it labels it and it says, oh, that means this. This means that. So, my brain jumped in really, really fast. Having a very sharp mind is fabulous, but it's only a part of your capacity, okay? Don't utilize your brain to drive all of your life, because you're only going to keep repeating what you've done in the past, because that's all that's in your brain. So in calling this friend and them asking me did I ask a question? And then we started to, I was in a pretty heavy place, so we kind of had to change a bit of the energy, and then we started to ask questions, and it started to change. And I was able to step back and begin to look at this from a different space. And I was able to get some more awareness on it. And as I communicated with the person who sent me the message, it really started to change a great deal. So how many places and spaces do you go into your autoresponder with your judgment that is cutting off all of the awareness that is creating and recreating the same pile of crap you had yesterday? Would you like to give that all up now, people? Would you like to let that go so that you can begin to have everything that is just amazing in this world that you have the capacity to create? Yeah, great question, Eleanor. She says, so what if presence is a prerequisite for awareness? Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Eleanor. Being present, when you are being present in your life and you're being present in a moment, you are actually asking questions. Okay? You're not, it's not just staring at somebody. You when you are really being present, you are in the moment. You're not on autopilot. Your brain is on autopilot. That's what our brains are. There's, I've said this many times, 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of those thoughts are the exact same thoughts you had yesterday. So our brain is continuously, and if you're a thinker, like a really big thinker, if you're always thinking, your automatic pilot is probably stronger than the next person's. And so with that automatic pilot, you really have to hold yourself in check and say, wait a second, let me ask a question about this. And really let those judgments and decisions and conclusions go. Because what are they creating for you? They're creating the same pile over and over and over again. So how many times are you desiring to change something, saying, I'm going to change this, and then you keep going back into those old stuck places, right? How many of us are doing that with our bodies, right? We get up in the morning and we look in the mirror and we are absolutely positive that we are absolutely positive that it's still there. It's still the same thing, and we go into judgment. We don't go into the questions. We don't go into the curiosity spaces and really see what else is possible. We're not being very kind to ourselves in this. Do you realize that? Do you realize how unkind that each and every one of us are being to ourselves in creating our life and our living? Yes, please, Eleanor, please do stay out of your blanking head. Just because your head is on the top of your body does not make it the king or queen of your life. So we are going to go for our second break of the night. And when we get back, we're going to continue to dive into the crazy ways that we selectively aware and how we can begin to move beyond that. You are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. When we get back, we'll have some more fun. Stick around, people.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions? Or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So tonight we are talking about, are you selectively aware? You know, one of the things that a lot of us talk about is I'd like to be more aware. I'd like to have that capacity. And when these awarenesses and these capacities start to, you start to utilize tools to strengthen that, and you start to become aware of some things, it can become oftentimes very intense, because awareness is not always comfortable, right? A lot of times we start to become so, it's like your level of sensitivity, like you sense things so easily that you begin to sense the intensity in other people, in their judgments of themselves, in their judgments of other people, in some of the crazy creations that are going on in the world. So we get all of that intensity, and then what we do is we go into some pretty intense places. Sometimes we might get really angry. Sometimes we might get exceptionally sad. We may even become physically ill, and then we decide that we want to turn it off. Well, you know what? The horse is already out of the gate. The garage door is smashed open, the vehicle's through it, it's gone, okay? Your awareness is on. You have stepped into your awareness. Now, don't fret, because you can begin to change it. Ask yourself every day, am I willing to have my full awareness today? Am I willing to have my full awareness? And everywhere I believe that awareness can actually stop me or hurt me, I'm just going to let that go. When you know that awareness and using these tools, especially using the tool of asking questions, when you realize that can begin to change intensities very, very quickly, you won't become contracted around your awareness. Now, that's another reason that a lot of people begin to go into high levels of emotion or physical illness, is because they begin to contract things into their body. They begin to go, oh no, I don't want to know this. And they literally pull it in, and then they actually start to create this space of uncomfortableness. Now, great question in the chat room. Eleanor says, what if alcohol and overeating blocks awareness? It's just a choice. Exactly. And you're bang on. Anytime we are doing anything to excess, to numb ourselves, what we're actually doing is we're trying to numb our awareness. So let's say you grew up and you were in an emotionally abusive home, right? Oftentimes we know that people that are emotionally abused oftentimes grow up to go into substance abuse. And the reason that they are doing that, the number one reason, is to cut off the experience, right? They want to numb the memories. They want to numb what they were aware of. And yeah, I get it. A lot of us have had some of these things where we want the intensity to stop. But what we're doing is we're contracting, and then we're trying to numb ourselves even more. And what that actually does is that locks it into us. That's actually not changing it. And it's kind of like, it's following us or chasing us around. And yeah, if you don't want to feel because your level of awareness is so high, that judgment that you've got in there is actually intensifying that what you're trying to run away from. If you were total space around this and you were asking questions around it and you were allowing yourself to shift it and move it, you will begin to get to a space of, oh, this is what I do with this information. This is what I do with this energy. This is how I allow it to shift. You cannot go back and wipe out your past. You cannot go back and change what occurred. But what you can do is you can allow it to be done, and you can allow your awareness to shift the intensity of it. And when you begin to ask questions, that is where it can really, really start to unlock a lot. And on top of this, we lock these things in our body. So, we talk about the bars, we talk about the different body processes with access consciousness. Strongly encourage you, if you have these types of intensities and you have you can feel the contraction in your body, please contact myself, contact anyone on the Access Consciousness website, and get your bars run. It will begin to unlock so much for you, for both your mind and your body. And all of the other body processes that are available to the body process workers, it's amazing how much we've locked into our body as well as in our mind. And it can change very, very quickly. Melissa says, what if sometimes we judge ourselves selectively aware, and in reality we are choosing to be totally aware of what works for us, and that which we aren't aware of is what is actually not true or is a lie for us? Okay, so I'm not sure that is, which we aren't aware of is actually not true or is a lie to us. Awareness, you can be aware of something and then you can ask the question, is this mine or is this someone else's? I don't believe that when you're not aware of something, it's because it's not true or it's a lie. Having awareness is being aware of anything and everything around us. Selectively aware, I think, is where we've decided it's not important to us, or we've decided it's not true for us. And there is often the judgment that's in there that's sticking us with the selectively aware. Okay? So are you willing to really look at the places and spaces in your life that are not working, and are you willing to own it that, okay, this isn't working. Something's not working. Let's say you're something in your business. Let's say with clients. Let's say you continuously have a repeating action happening with clients, a repeating outcome happening with clients? Are you willing to look at it from a very, very vulnerable space and say, so truth, what is going on here? Truth, what am I creating? And dropping your barriers. And guys, sometimes you're so up close and personal with it, you can't get unlocked from it. I totally get that. And I was saying to one of my friends today that, what really works for me is to talk things out loud. That's what works for me. You need to choose what works for you. It is really difficult when you're ahead sometimes to ask these questions. And sometimes, I can get to that space, but a lot of times I really enjoy, and it's much easier for me when I'm working with someone else to actually ask the question. So reach out to a coach, reach out to some people that will support you in moving beyond. And it doesn't necessarily mean it needs to take a long time, but, what is it that you are looking for to have in your life? What is it that you are looking for to receive in this lifetime? Are you honestly ready to change this? Are you honestly ready to have more of your awareness so that you can create all of these things that you've been talking about that you desire to create? It really takes tenacity. It takes that never give up, never give in energy. It takes that, what I talk about, dominatrix energy, is lean into it. Are you willing to get messy with it? Are you willing to really own it and say, you know what? I'm doing this. I don't care what it looks like. I'm doing this. And I'm determined to change this because it is no longer okay. Are you willing to receive your awareness? That's a great question. Are you willing to receive your awareness? Are you willing to know what you know, or are you only choosing what is easy? Are you only choosing what's light and friendly? Are you only choosing what is not going to cause too many ruffles? Do you like to go along and just kind of pop your head up with your awareness and then go back to your turned off reality? Are you living a mediocre life? Have you chosen to only have, there's this old joke that I was raised Roman Catholic, nothing against Catholics, but there is this joke that if you only go to church on Christmas and Easter, you can only go into heaven on Christmas and Easter. So are you only choosing your awareness on, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays? Are you turning your awareness off on all of the other days? Are you choosing awareness with a certain group of friends, but then turning it off with another group of friends? Are you choosing to be aware with your lover, but you're not choosing to be aware with your children? Are you avoiding awareness conversations with certain individuals, but really saying, look, this is extremely important with other individuals? When you are choosing to cut off holiday specials for consciousness, very, very good. When you're choosing to cut off your awareness, when you are literally deciding when you're going to use your awareness and when you're not, how much are those areas of your life not working? How much are those things sticking you? Now, awareness does not mean you have to do something about it, right? Awareness, the action of awareness is acknowledging it is an action. Just because you are aware that someone is being hurtful to another person, that doesn't mean you have to run in there or jump in, on your horse and gallop in there to change it all right? That's not the type of action you have to take. If you feel that that's going to create something that's going to be a contribution to you and to the other people, okay, great. But it doesn't require you to do something about it. But would you not like to have all of the awareness so you have the choice that you can choose something when something else is not working for you? That's the beauty, and that's the gift in awareness, is knowing that when you have your awareness, it gives you the entire picture. So you have all the choices laid out in front of you. But when you're doing selective awareness, you're cutting off choice. You're cutting off seeing what it is that is available to you. You're cutting off receiving in every area of your life when you begin to cut off in any area of your life. Okay, we are going to go to our last break of the show. Please stick around. When we get back, we're going to wrap up the selective awareness. Stay tuned, everyone.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions? Or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. We're talking about selective awareness. How many of us do selective awareness with money? My dear friend and colleague and sister in consciousness, Rhonda Burns, and I are doing a pleasuring money call. And we're only in the second week of it, and it is phenomenal. I am so grateful we chose this. We have got 100 people in the group, and we are having amazing awarenesses. Amazing changes are beginning to happen. If you would like to join us, please come on over to Facebook and Pleasuring Money group there, and you can join in all of the amazingness that's being created. You can also get the recordings. You can join for free. The recordings are only $10 for the entire 6 weeks of the classes, and you can begin to have more pleasure with money. How amazing could that be in your life? Well, also, as I said earlier, I am having a foundation class here in Toronto, March the 16th through the 19th, and the theme of the foundation class is going to be all around the luck of the Irish. As I am, my ancestors are from Ireland, so I like to have a little bit of fun, as everybody knows, so we're going to have some fun, and there might even be some dress-up opportunities, so we'll have to see. You have to come and play to find out. So before we went away, we were talking about selective awareness and how cutting off our awareness can actually be cutting off our choices, right? So how much do you do selective awareness, which reduces your choices, which reduces your capacity to choose something different, something greater, something that could actually be in your world that's never been in your world before, right? Melitza said, I've been watching behind the scenes of magic shows, and it's like we cut off our awareness and we choose the illusion, like it's more fun to be tricked or mystified than to know what is behind it or what is going on. Yeah, how much do we like being shown something like, oh gosh, what's that show? You know, The Man Behind the Curtain, right? We don't want to know. We like the illusions. We do. We like to have these illusions of these fairy tale worlds, and that's where we do begin to cut it off. How much of the intensity that's going on in the world that people are aware of, and they're numbing themselves, they're cutting off to the truth of what's happening, which is not changing it, right? You don't have to judge it to be aware. Thank you, the Wizard of Oz. Thank you for reading my mind, Melitza. You don't have to judge it. And the minute you judge awareness, the minute you go, well, that's wrong or that's awesome, the minute you do that, you start to cut off again. So please be conscious of that. Please begin to watch yourself in that. How much do we love the mystery of unconsciousness, like a kid at a magic show, right? That is so true. We like it. We like to be in, so many of us like to be in fairy tale land with this. And on the other side of it, there are many people that I know that they cut off their awareness to kindness. They cut off their awareness to the generosity that's around them. They cut off their awareness to the beauty that is available to us. When we go into the chaos of drama and trauma, especially what's going on right now with the President of the United States, there is so much intensity around it. How much of that intensity is actually cutting off people's awareness to what is really going on and what is really being created, right? Whenever you are in that level of intensity, please check into this. Please check in. How much am I judging this right now? How much judgment am I in? Okay, I'm willing to let that go. I'm willing to let that go, pock and pod that, and then truth, what am I aware of? When you ask it from that level of energy, when you ask it from that space, that is where you can begin to receive. And when you're willing to receive that awareness, that's when your choices pop up. It's like all of these little fairies start popping up around you and go, oh my gosh, I didn't see you. I didn't see you. I didn't know you were there. Yeah, how much are we cutting that off? So, wow. I love where these radio shows go. I love how my radio show speaks to me and starts to ask me to have a conversation around a topic. I never really know where they're going to go. That's the way I've been doing it for 5 years, and it seems to be working pretty good. I do get more and more information, and I do continue to study, and I love all of that, and I keep asking questions. So if this is something that you've ever thought about creating, have you ever thought about having your own radio show so you can receive more awareness from yourself and to be bringing your voice of awareness to the world? If so, this is a platform that we are having so much fun on. We would love to hear from you. We've got so many amazing hosts, and I'm telling you, it really is a community of everyone enjoying and cheering each other on. I'm so grateful for everyone that's here. So if you're interested in talking to me about your radio show, or if you know of somebody that is looking, I would love to have a conversation with them. You can contact me for any of my shows. You can contact me for anything that came up on the show tonight, or if you're interested in any of the programs that I mentioned earlier, or having your own radio show, you can connect with me, Christine, at Inspired Choices Radio. So next week, we've got another fun-packed radio show coming up, and we've got some really awesome guests coming on. Next week is all awesomeness. Awesome creators have haters. So stay tuned for next week. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye
you
for
for
now.
choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.